Afternoon all. I know it's a while since I last posted, I'm not really a big poster. Anyway, I felt so inclined today because my wife and her sisters and mom all just took off to go see one of the kids and his wife and the grandkids there, the four grandkids. And, they don't want nothing to do with me. And they did at one time, so I don't know what happened. I know I've done nothing to them. And it irks me. I got a good relationship with all my other grandkids, so I'm thrilled for that. Thrilled. But it irks me for a bigger reason than just my own personal indignation. It irks me because of nearly 40 years spent in prison. If I've learned one thing, it's good boys end up in prison too. It's not always the bad boys. Everybody says, oh, my kids are good. My sons are all good boys. They've never got in trouble. They're even great during high school, The reality is, any social worker or caseworker or counselor that works in any prison system or anybody who's done time in any prison system knows full well the value of what I'm saying. And for people with the hubris and arrogance to think that they should just discount anybody who's been doing time's value towards young males to influence them to avoid those patterns. It infuriates me. I'm over the whole thing with whether they want anything to do with me or not. That's their business. I did care. I won't say I don't care. I just don't give a fuck at this point. It just infuriates the shit out of me because I'm a good motherfucker for my grandkids. For any kids in the neighborhood. So the bottom line is, though, there's a whole lot of guys that have done time that are strong alpha males that have straightened their lives out and are living and contributing good life, whether it's through their churches or just social networks in the community. But they get discounted, whether it's by neighbors, community, public, family, like in my case. And it's infuriating because a lot of these boys, these young males, will end up in prison. Show me 20 kids from any community. Just grab your kid and 19 of his friends. I guarantee you, 2 of those kids are going to prison. I fucking guarantee it. That's just the way it is. And if you're so ignorant and arrogant to think that that's not the case because you're such a good mom and dad, that's got shit to do with it. These kids today, any male born after 1987 was raised in an emasculating society. They were taught to be emasculated, to embrace emasculation, to disregard the feelings that they start experiencing and being confused over once puberty sets in, because the way they were taught in school, the way they were emotionally and psychologically neutered as males, maybe they didn't have strong father figures or any father figure at all for that matter. Whatever the case may be, that social emasculation and neutering at one point or another in those that are strong in their minds know something's wrong. Something's wrong. My chemistry says I should be doing something else. And so no matter how they were brought up, they get around certain other people that feel that way or that have already figured that out, and that influences them. And all of a sudden it seems like a good idea on a Friday night, just go have a little fist fight with these people that are catcalling at them or something like that, or just, that's just a minimal example. I'm going to tell you, I know this kid. He's a young man now. I'm going to call him Steve because, I'm going to respect his privacy. He doesn't know that I'm doing this, but I'm going to say Steve's a homeboy of mine from Orange County. He grew up in a well-to-do home, good mom, good dad, very laid back, almost hippie-ish, just really cool. He did well in school. He excelled as an athlete, a great athlete. His sister did too. She ended up going on to college on a full ride scholarship. He would have gone at least probably to the major leagues to play baseball. He's just a talented young man, a good kid, never in trouble ever. No getting kicked out of school, maybe a fight in younger days, if that. I don't even know that. But here's what happens. He's an adolescent now. He's like 19 years old, just over the threshold, and he's out with his friends one night, and they're all pretty good kids. I mean, a couple have been in trouble, but nothing like going to juvenile hall or jail or even getting kicked out of school. Just fist fights and shit like that. Bottom line, he's out with his friends and stuff, and they encounter some other guys. And these guys are thuggish, and they're getting pushed up. They're not going to back down. They're going to defend themselves and each other. Long story short, a self-defense becomes a murder case. And this kid's been in prison for 20 years now, waiting for his chance to get out, doing life. That was everybody's good little boy. My kid would never do. He's such a respectful, fine young man, well-educated, going to go to college. So I'm posting this now because I want people to understand the value and worth of an alpha male who has figured his life out and straightened his past discretions and errors out, paid for it. If that man is willing to mentor in any fashion your son, nephew, grandson, whatever the case may be, you jump on that. You jump on that like you had $1 million to pay him for that, because you know what? That's what keeps that kid out of fucking prison one day. Sure as shit, dollars to donuts, statistics don't lie, I promise you. I promise you, you get 20 little boys together right now, the ages of 6 and 10, 2 of those boys, if not more, are going to the penitentiary. I promise you that. It doesn't have to be that way. I get aggravated with that with my family situation. Yeah, it hurts a little bit, but even more so, it infuriates me to think that arrogance or that hatred or dislike for me or whatever the hell it may be is a good reason to keep me from being a good influence and male figure to those boys. Don't let that be your error out there. Don't let that be your mistake. I'm not talking about just trusting in evil buddies. I'm talking about people, your family, your friends that you know. They've done their time. They've paid for their crimes. They're living decent lives now. They're being a good example in the community. Whatever, you capitalize on that. You don't turn your nose up at that, because when the day comes that the gavel comes down and the judge says life in prison or 4 years or 10 years or 20 years or whatever it is, and your heart's breaking, you just remember this. You contributed to that. You enabled that process. Y'all have a good day. Till next time, whenever that might be, this is Dr. Casper Otis and Kroll, out.